Two wheels are better than four. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 17 Scooters Club.
Welcome.
I'm Liv. That's Natalie. She's
In person.
actually here. And there's Katie. She's not.
Liv had to go hunt her down and bring her in her own
Yes.
in her
More
box.
like, so I woke up and I'm like, oh, Natalie's, well, I woke up at 8:30. I'm like, this is way too early. And Natalie was in Bakersfield. And then so I go back to sleep and then I wake up around 10:30 and I'm like, oh, I wonder where Natalie is. And she's like coming up the driveway and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get out of bed. And so, yeah. Now I'm here, but it's my only day to sleep in. So I sleep in I did.
Glad you slept in. Sometimes I'm bad and I will do all of my work the night before.
We have to set our
answer my emails. And then I wake up in the morning and get my computer and bring it back to bed. And I work like laying down. It's nice.
Yeah, I could see that.
Am I lagging for you guys?
That's like me when I was a kid. You paused for a second, but you're back. I remember when I was little, I think I've said this before on the pod, but I remember I never wanted to get undressed in the morning because it was so cold in the house. I remember. So I would put on and I was like a fashionista in my own word. It wasn't trendy, it wasn't cute, but I had a certain fashion sense in high school. And so I would wear it to bed the night before. And I think sometimes I'd even no, I didn't do my makeup. It was just the clothes. And I would lay my shoes next to the bed. So when I got up in the morning, all I had to do is zip my shoes on. I'd wash my face. And at that point, I had a 2-minute makeup routine. We pound some foundation on, run out the door, boom.
We should go through our old makeup looks.
I don't really recall my old makeup looks. Yeah, I had a phase when I was trying to do Taylor Swift makeup, but edgier, and it didn't work. And I never figured out the base. I'd be like, okay, I can do whatever with the base if I do crazy eyes, but the crazy eyes weren't even good. And neither was the base. So I looked kind of scary. But that's character building for you. I'm on day 4 of tretinoin. Well, Retin-A. Sorry, Retin-A. I use the word tretinoin because I think they're the same thing.
I think they are too.
Yes, they are.
But I'm starting to get teeny tiny pimples, which is the beginning of the purge. But I'm excited because the only thing I was worried about starting this for was that I had a job interview, and I had it was spur of the moment. I knew it was coming within the next few weeks, but they called me the night before and was like, hey, can you interview tomorrow morning? And I'm like, perfect. And beginning, I was like, I can't wait to start my Retin-A journey for this interview, but it'll be bad if I'm in the middle of the purge and I have to go sit down for an interview and then be like, ew, this dirty girl doesn't take care of herself. Be like, don't you worry, this is the only time you'll see me like this. But anyways, we got that over with, and now I'll just be training with eruptions going on my face, but that's okay.
It's okay. I was gonna say what helped me a lot with the the peeliness of it is hyaluronic acid.
I already used that in my routine, and I heard, first I heard you and Natalie. I think I've been calling it hydrochloric acid. I've been telling people that's what I've been putting on my face.
I put HCl on my face.
But no, I heard you two say it, and then I heard a skin professional talk about Retin-A, and then that as well. And she said that she never peeled using that. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what you do, good for you. But also she recommended the 0.25. And so I'm starting on the 0.25. So hopefully that's just a slow ease into it type of deal.
I think it's going to be good, and I'm excited for your updates.
Me too. Well, you inspired me, because people will say a lot of things about skincare, and I'll just be like, okay, sure, it works. I don't really trust you. Sure. And then watching it actually work on you, I was like, wait, this, they're not just talking about this. So.
And they're not hitting that it takes a long time, which I was I want immediate results. I want to see results in a month. And I kept hoping that I was going to see results. And then I didn't, and I didn't. And now I'm on month 8, essentially.
You started before May.
And look at this is I'm just wearing sunscreen right now.
Yeah, and that's the goal.
Nice.
I don't want to have to put stuff on my like face
Yeah.
for makeup. Like I want to be like the Hailey Biebers who just use their little stick and do like their little blush stick and then mascara if they do that. If anything.
Yeah, I
Not
feel like-
mascara for Katie. You should have seen her last night.
Oh yeah.
I purposely
I
didn't
feel
put
like
it
the
on
long
today.
process makes it last longer too. Like it's not as easy reversed versus if you short term fix your skin, it doesn't last as long and it's easily interrupted.
Yeah, the long term was more, but
Agreed. Well, I'm back again with I swear this is what I use my I used who would have thought I bought a $15 tripod off of Amazon. Whether you like Amazon or not, I don't know. I like Amazon. Sue me. But I swear, this thing, I use it for everything. I'm like over here getting my podcast stuff ready. Maybe I should let Natalie use it when she's.
I know.
you were
and she's-
FaceTiming us last
when I'm
night
doing
while
my
you were taking a shower. With the
Yeah, I
tripod.
did. You could do everything. All the angles. All right, well,
Well,
speaking
what was
of all the angles,
I was gonna say our topics today.
down under.
Down under. Before we get into what they are, I was telling I was going to say the girls because that's what I used to call you guys. I was telling Liv and Nat that I'm hoping that when we put all of our knowledge together, since all of our topics are the same topic, if that makes sense, but different locations, I'm thinking,
Same
or like
category.
at least lives. I'm wondering if we're going to put all of our knowledge together and have like an epiphany and be like, oh my God, we've solved the mystery.
I love that we're doing like a themed, we haven't done a theme in a while.
I know.
Okay, on off reset, do you mind if I pull this closer so we can lean back?
Sure.
Hell yeah. We're connected, literally connected
To the laptop and to each other by headphones.
to the laptop and to each other because that's just how it is. I was talking to her last night and I think I said something about split apart at the womb. We're twins.
You're like, even though we weren't born at the same time.
Even though we weren't, pretty much we're twins. You're gonna have to split us up at the womb. But I'm kind of feeling that right now.
Liv, you have so many weird sayings. What was yours yesterday about the butter and the candle? Butter me up and put a candle in it. And what the hell
No,
is
I
that?
literally put that in my notes so we can make merch. Okay, so Natalie, background. Will you tell them the background story?
I don't remember it. That's why I was
Okay. So basically Natalie is known to not love sweets that much. And so I was talking about her birthday before she had birthday plans. So I'm like, do you want a cake? And we're like, well, I know you don't really like cake, blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what? I like cake, but you know what I also like? I love pasta. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
you could just get me a bowl of pasta, butter me some noodles, put a candle in it, and I'd be good. And then I wrote that I have too many notes.
You do have a lot of notes. I do too.
I will find it and I will let you know. But yeah, I have to do. No, there's literally
can
so many
search
notes.
notes.
I will search.
Just search butter
butter.
and candle.
I wonder
Impressed
how
you have
many
that
I'm
many
gonna have.
notes that you can't find.
Well, so many. There's so much butter.
Why do you have butter in your? Oh my gosh!
Just look at how many notes have butter in it.
Why? Why?
What are you
Let's look
writing about?
candle. A lot. Top hits. I don't want the top hits. Butterflies. Justin Bieber new album. Okay, let's look up candle. Oh, here we go. Where'd it go? Butter me a bowl and put a candle in it.
What does butter me a bowl mean?
Butter me a bowl of
Pasta.
pasta and put a candle in it.
Isn't a bowl a kind of spelt differently? A kind of bread?
A bread bowl. It could be.
A bowl.
A bowl.
Oh, I didn't
Kind
know
of
about
bread.
that. I don't know about
Okay,
that. But yeah, no, I would let me know in the comments. Would you guys, if I made a baby tee and embroidered right in the front, butter me a bowl and put a candle in it? Or that's just my go-to merch. But I want what were we talking? I was talking about my dog, a really pastel painting of my dog sitting at the end of a table with a hat on and a bowl of pasta and him blowing out the candle of a bowl of pasta. And on the front it says butter me a bowl and put a candle in it.
I like that one.
I could see that being in here, like a
Yeah.
big portrait of Tate.
Yeah, we'll work on it. I have off today.
You can make
Add
it
that
into
to,
your ribbons behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Who
make
wants to go
A big
first?
span.
Should we say on 3? I want to say 1, 2, 3 and say
Well, What's
That's-
our category? We have to.
Well, okay.
divulge the category.
We both know we're doing tunnels, but we're doing tunnels in different ways. And Katie was the one that started this last week. She was like, I'm doing a tunnel. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do like Boston tunnels. And then she never told us what she's gonna do. So I think you hinted that on the podcast last week. You're like, I have a secret and it's about
I have a
tunnels.
secret about tunnels.
Yeah, and I was like, and I said mine, but
Oh, the secret is tunnels.
now I'm curious what Katie's is.
Okay,
So
so
do we
I
wanna-
suppose
I think Katie should go
no?
first.
Okay, so this topic is something that I have been like going back and forth on, like kind of finding more, finding less. But every time I come back to it, I learn something new. And so I think it's one of those things that I've always heard about that I always am like, is this a myth? Is this real? I don't know. So my topic today is the underground city of Los Angeles. Have you guys heard of any LA tunnels or cities or
I've heard
any
of it.
ideas of what they're used for? Allegedly.
I think I've heard about it once, and then that's about it. So no, not really.
I heard
at
about
all.
someone that claimed to work at a Starbucks down there.
That's what we're talking
What?
about. Yes. Okay. So the conspiracy essentially is that LA allegedly has 11 miles of underground tunnels that are all organized in some type of network, and they're used by the wealthy to travel around unseen. So like the whole example is like, do you ever see Kim Kardashian or like whoever waiting in line at a Starbucks? No, you see them walking around with a Starbucks cup. Could their assistant have gotten it for them? Yes, maybe. But they like or they were just like sitting in traffic. No, the whole idea is that they're using these tunnels. So rumors, and we're going to go into this, include that there's a secret Starbucks down there where everything is free. All the employees have to sign an NDA until it runs out. They can't talk about it. There's different restaurants, lounges, and everything is only accessible from below. And I have a whole bunch of examples of these in actual restaurants, and I'm curious if you've heard of them, Liv. And
I wonder if there's a way around an NDA where like you pretend to be someone else and you like sign papers as someone else.
Claiming
And
a multiple
then-
personality disorder.
That too. But no, like if you go undercover and you pretend to be someone else and you like sign it but as somebody else, and it's like, wait, that's not my name. Like that would be massive. That would be fraud. But you're also not on the hook for the NDA. So
maybe
Also-
or you wait till it runs out.
first thoughts is that would make sense. I mean, LA is so spread out as a city. It's not you have to drive everywhere to
Far.
get there. It's not like New York where you could be plopped down anywhere in New York and you could get anywhere you need without a car. LA is not like that, and there are so many celebrities living there. So first thoughts, I'm like, if it was going to be anywhere, it would definitely be there, because I feel like New York is very much so like you see celebrities and that's that. But yeah,
I feel like I heard something about the building plans of it too, or like the building plans of LA, and it kind of proved that they were there.
I think that's what I've heard about. Like, I haven't heard about people living down there. I heard about like the sketchy building plans.
Well, we're going to go into the kind of the background and some of the theories and some of the ideas of what might be down there. So basically the early origins of this, there was this guy called George Warren Shufelt. I don't know. He's a 1930s geophysicist, and he was a mining engineer. And
This was the
he
one I heard about.
claimed to invent the ground X-ray device, which essentially is what it sounds like, a thing where he keeps X-raying the ground. And he really wanted to do it because he wanted to detect different structures that might be buried. And he claims that he discovered in the 30s that there was already pre-existing miles of tunnels beneath LA. He started excavating, and it never really produced any evidence, but he built a map, and it kind of influences some of the modern people who talk about this today. So bringing me to what Nat had said, there's modern claims. There's this guy, he doesn't say his name, and he was on a podcast actually, or like an interview of some sort. And he says that there's something down there, part of the tunnels. It's called the Achterbahn, kind of like the Autobahn, like, but it's the Achterbahn. And essentially it's just like a crazy highway and down there, and it has a Starbucks. And he claims that he worked at the Starbucks.
How do you apply?
Why am I picturing like Kylie Jenner in her like bright pink G-Wagon just flying?
Yeah.
Like, like how do the like so ambulances must have to sign NDAs? Like they have to have their own secret network of like of like
Emergency services.
personnel, emergency personnel,
Yes.
when like Kylie crashes her G-Wagon.
Yeah, so that's what this guy said. He said that it's been long enough, and so he's able to talk about it. But basically, he was super nonchalant, and I'll send you the clip. But he was like, "Yeah, I used to work down there," and I forget what celebrity he said, but like whoever was interviewing him was like, "Oh wait, so you mean so and like they just went down there to drive around to get their Starbucks?" And he's like, "Yeah, I saw so and so, and this was their order, and I saw so and this was their order." And he was like, "It was just a normal thing." And then the question came up: is how do they pay? And he was like, they didn't pay. They didn't pay. It was all like included in whatever. And he was like, I don't know. Like I got paid by Starbucks and that was that. And I didn't ask any questions and it was just really cool.
So
Did he
here's the
say
deal. We
how
need
he
to,
got hired?
yeah. Natalie's been trying to ask
In the
me.
clip, I think someone asked him and he said, I just applied. Like I was just applying to Starbucks's and like they just hired me. Or maybe he was already working at Starbucks and he has a very likable personality. So maybe they were like, oh, you'd be good down on the.
I mean, thinking about it, it's really not the most obscure thing. Like when I actually like it's crazy to think that there's something that we don't know about down there, especially if it's free and especially that we don't have access to it. But then when you think about it, like it kind of like it makes sense. Like all these people just want to be treated like normal and they have the money to make like to be able to hide like and so they could do that.
You
Like
got to get Tunnel Girl on it.
You
maybe
gotta get
that's where
someone
Taylor
going.
Swift got the idea to put herself in like a little storage bin to roll her up onto stage.
Yeah.
So basically, so 1930s, that guy George, he was scanning the ground and he was like, shoot, there's something down there. So the question is, what's down there? So this part is a fact that in the 1920s, there were tunnels below LA, and whether these are the same tunnels that now the elites use where they built out, we don't know. But those original tunnels were used in the 20s to move alcohol and people around during Prohibition. So they're called the Prohibition tunnels. And King Eddie's Saloon is one of the famous restaurants. In their basement, you can go in there and it'll connect tunnels to other businesses. There's also some comedian's house. I forget what it is. And it's people have toured it so many times. Tana Margaux, whatever, she looked at buying this house. There is a tunnel, like a trap thing in the floor, and it leads down to some famous comedy club. And so, like, a lot of famous comedians would live there and they would go back and forth through the tunnel, through the mountain. Like, you know how it's mountainous, like cliffs? The comedy club is down here and the house is up here. There's literally video that they would go down and it would serve as like secret parties.
That's wild because I've heard things like we have the same terrain as LA because we're not very far from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard crazy things like that before, like having like a airplane bunker in our mountains. And then like do you know how you'll walk around and you'll see little like you were talking about them last time about burials and stuff, but the like little air things and you're like, "Wait, where's this air hole going to? What are they adding air to in these mountains?"
Yeah,
But
where they
that's
need to
so
vent.
cool. That's like exactly what like I would dream up as a kid. Be like, "Just have my house and then I have a whole underground house too."
Yeah, and they used it to get back and forth. It's mainly to businesses, to restaurants. And then there's some legit examples, and these ones are real that we know of. So the Chateau Marmont, it has a basement that has a secret entry exit. The Ambassador Hotel has underground routes between the hotel, the nightclub, and a bunch of service spaces. Biltmore Hotel is verified. There's different tunnels in there that have been used by past presidents, Hollywood elites, and Marilyn Monroe used those a lot. And same with the Alexandria Hotel that is connected to the Pacific Electric tunnels, which is a whole nother topic. Apparently, there's old Pacific Electric tunnels through LA. And that was like train tunnels and electric tunnels that also are rumored to be moved into the elites. So then the question is, what are they doing down there? Like what's going on? So the Getty Museum, I've never been there, but there is multiple people online who have claimed that they
Wait,
accidentally go ahead.
Getty Museum?
Getty, Getty.
Is that a car museum? Do
I
you happen
believe
to
that
know?
there's cars, there's an outside garden. The garden is
Hassan
allegedly
went
where the
there
entrance is.
not
Yeah,
too long ago.
you should ask him about it. So basically, this one says there's like a bunch of secret parties below the Getty center. So you can go in the center, go in the museum, but there's this girl online who was saying like she met someone and they were like, hey, do you want to go to a party? And she's like, yeah, sure. They were like, okay, you have to leave your cell phone here and blah, blah, and you have to follow me. And so she was like, a party at the museum? Like, that's kind of cool. And they're like, no, you wait. And so brought her out into the tunnels or out into the gardens, and out in the gardens apparently there's like some type of tunnel entrance, and it just kind of looks like a gardening thing, and you go down, and she was like, it's just never ending tunnels that are switching back and forth, and like you could totally get lost down there. And they have a bunch of different parties and all these confusing underground passageways. And then the last thing I'll mention is, besides the Starbucks and saying that the elites use the tunnels to go back and forth, allegedly Leonardo DiCaprio is big into the tunnels. Leo drives in the tunnels all of the time, and he apparently attends all these underground parties, and no one has ever obviously caught photos of him down there because there's no paparazzi, but Leo is a big fan of the tunnels. And this makes sense to me because think of all the Diddy things with the tunnel. Like, I'm sure similar to that house, and I'll find that house. That house has tunnels, like the comedian house has all these tunnels that go down and through literally the cliffs down to different businesses. I know Diddy's house is close to, I think, the Playboy Mansion, right? So I'm sure that there's tunnels that go all around there. Like, I'm sure the tunnels connect everything in LA.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, I mean, I've always thought, like, why the heck doesn't LA have a subway system?
It used to.
Not anymore.
Not like New York. It was like an underground train thing. But I think that's
Hold on, we're being all right. We're back.
We're
Anybody
back.
needs to do anything while we're paused?
No, my friend Snapchatted me like an hour ago, and he was like, guess I'm not leaving my house. He lives in like the town of Poughkeepsie, and there was all these cars. And then I was just on Facebook, and I follow the feed of whatever it is, the scanner feed. There's a murder suicide today at 1 p.m. Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, I know. When I'm like trying to tell people where I live, and like they're from the city, and I'm like, yeah, Poughkeepsie, but like not actually Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Ready.
Back down under.
Action. Yeah, Leo intrigued me that he kept coming up over and over, that he like drives his, I think they said a convertible, I don't know what car. I could just see him driving around like to parties down there, stopping at
Why would you drive a
Starbucks.
convertible?
No, that
a
sounds
tunnel.
icky.
And how do they vent it so there's not, like,
With the
even
little
just regular
things that-
tunnels, like even a regular tunnel, like long tunnels,
It wouldn't
you're
surprise
supposed to
me
keep
if
your
they
windows
probably
up.
had some type of ventilation system. Like, I think these are like built out. Like, if Starbucks is down there, there's actually businesses. There has to be some type
Yeah.
of ventilation thing. It's not like the old Prohibition. I'm sure maybe they were the Prohibition ones, but I'll see if I could find
It's renovated.
during our next one the interview of the guy, because I'm curious to kind of play it. Maybe I'll try
Yeah.
it. Maybe
Because
I'll
there's
play
got
it.
to be tons of people like in construction that have worked on the tunnels or like stuff like that. So where are they at? I want to hear.
They've all
Okay.
been sworn to secrecy.
I know.
Should I play a little clip or no?
Yes.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes. Sorry.
You used to work at a secret Starbucks, is that right? Yeah, there is a Starbucks that is like above reserve, like a Starbucks no one's ever heard of or been to. Right? Have you ever wondered while driving in Los Angeles, how come you've never seen like Will Smith stuck in traffic on the 405? Yeah, I've never seen a 1%er just in their car stuck in traffic. Why is that? That's because there's a series of intricate tunnels underneath Los Angeles known as the Actor Bomb. I'm not kidding. Like, they get access points to move through the city without ever having to be in traffic. You can come up in LAX, you can pop up at Dodger Stadium. Underneath there, in those tunnels, is Starbucks set up at different locations to allow them to get coffees while they're driving. All of that. Seinfeld. You've seen Seinfeld down there? Bono. I've seen Seinfeld down there. Take 2 shots. Wow. Yeah. Is he a good tipper? They don't have to pay. So this has been underneath Los Angeles for a few years now? I mean, how long has this been there for? I mean, it predates me. It seems like the city was built on top of it. So, I think this goes all the way back to the 20s. This doesn't seem real almost. This is crazy.
That's the end of it. But there's a whole, sorry about the music in the background. There's more from him I'll send for people to watch. But it's very interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. LA's a mess. Like, whenever I'm in LA, I'm wondering why actors would want to live
Worse
there.
traffic.
Yeah, well, it's horrible traffic, but like actors
That's
wouldn't
why you
want to
need the
sit in that
tunnels.
traffic. But it's also like they have drivers too. Like, why don't you see Will Smith stuck in traffic on
Because
the
he's in the back seat.
405?
Because he's in
Yeah,
the back
because
seat,
he's in
yeah.
the back seat and they're blacked out windows. So it goes both ways.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think there's definitely something under there. And to that scientist's point in the 30s when he was like scanning the x-rays on the ground, definitely 20s prohibition. And then it was proven that like presidents and people during Marilyn Monroe's time were for sure using the tunnels to go to like from restaurants to nightclubs to different hotels, like
Mhm.
those hotels that I had mentioned. So there's for sure tunnels that go around. If you look it up, I'll send you guys a picture and we can post it. There is a map of 11 miles of supposed tunnel down there. And so the question is just what are they using it for?
And I'm curious how they're getting, like, let's say you're driving north, right? And all of a sudden you're like, you have to merge onto the real highway. Like, there's no more tunnels. Like, where do they exit? And how do
Yeah.
they exit without it being seen?
I
you
think
know?
they get on and get off. This is my thought. And from what I've gathered, if the starting and the stopping is in and out of hotel rooms or private residences, it's like the Playboy Mansion might have a entrance. So like if I'm, let's say, I don't know, Will Smith or Kylie Jenner, like it looks like I'm just
Like a
going to
gated
somebody's
parking
mansion.
garage.
It looks like
Yeah.
a parking garage and then there's an entrance. I don't think they come out in public.
Yeah, you'd like have to have a security gated parking garage type of deal.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
Quite peculiar.
yeah, that's cool. Now I'm like, okay, we have to blow this podcast up so we could go do some like, yeah. So cool. And then it's like, okay, how famous do you have to be to gain access? You have to be like movie star because nowadays,
Who's the keeper of the tunnel?
yeah, nowadays there are some arguable like TikTokers that are more famous than movie stars because people don't watch movies anymore. Like your like everyday social media influencers are probably more recognizable than some people in movies.
Yeah.
Tana Margu.
Mm-hmm.
She has a podcast. She started as a TikToker.
Jake Paul world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in with Jeffree Star.
Yeah.
She has a podcast called Canceled. I think it's called Canceled or Problems or something. And I listened to a little bit of it, and her and Jeffree Star were discussing this. And she said that she looked at buying one of the houses with secret tunnels that were connected to it because she's like a famous person. But yeah, Jeffree Star was talking about it. So a lot of people have been talking about it.
Okay, I'd be interested to see what they like the celebrities have to say about it, like firsthand, if they're talking about it. Which honestly, if you have to be like mega rich to even own a house with access and like you sorry, my cat's distracting me. Like there's no harm in us knowing about it. Like there's no harm in people knowing about the tunnels, like because obviously how are we going to gain access to it? It's like a private jet. I know you guys fly around in private jets. I can't get on it, and I'm like, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to see what else people have to say about it.
Yeah, I'll see if I could find. I'll send you guys more things, and then we'll see. I know one of the questions that she asked Jeffree because I think they're longtime friends. She was like, "Are you afraid of speaking about this to get in trouble?" And he was like, "I don't give a shit. I don't care."
Yeah.
He was like, "If I was gonna get canceled, I would have got canceled a long time ago."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting. Well, then also I wonder if like every city has this. Like when I was doing my research, like it's just like there's nothing coming back to this like connecting to houses. I mean, there is, but there's also like there's no reason behind it. They're like the rooms are so much bigger and I'll get into it, but it's like too big for what it's supposed to be for. Like for bootlegging, like why do we have this massive like what looks like a ballroom floor for like bootlegging
Parties.
Yeah, parties.
Secret parties.
So like it makes me wonder if like now I'm thinking Denver airport tunnels, like maybe it's just tunnels exist everywhere for the celebrities so they can be seen if they want to be seen and they can move without being seen if they prefer that.
That's a good point. Maybe it's just part of their lifestyle, just something that they know. Like, yeah, the Denver airport, Boston, New York. Who knows? New York. I didn't look into New York.
Everything
LA.
just goes back to Taylor Swift for me because she'll like go in laundry carts and stuff like she'll go in like
Cleaning carts and
cleaning carts, suitcases, like she'll hide, like even her getting to stage, part of her show was her getting into like a locked box inside of a laundry cart that some guy is like pushing up the stage, and then she gets out under the stage and with all of her animatronics and stuff, and then she pops out through the stage. So like
Mhm.
she's never seeing the outside at all between this. So
Yeah.
like that idea could have stemmed from, okay, I live underground because I'm so famous. Like I wonder if I could make a tunnel above ground, and that is her like above ground tunnel hiding.
Hiding is a good way to put it. I know at one point this kind of reminded me, if we're talking about Taylor Swift, there was I forget the context of it, but when she was walking into some Chiefs game, people were walking next to her, like her staff, I would assume, and they were holding this giant allegedly bulletproof square thing, but I don't know how something could be bulletproof if you're holding it because you're going to drop it if it gets shot. But it's like she's walking and it's like this big, think about like the size of a sheet, but it's up. I don't know. And they're like pushing her against the wall. So they're essentially making like whole, as she's walking, they're going like this. And she's making her own tunnel as she's walking.
She's the tunnel
So
Yeah.
queen.
she's the tunnel queen.
I'm finding that.
Yeah, like it was a big black square out of like a game of some sort.
But it wasn't even clear.
No, I remember seeing that actually. And I think it was like in response to something. It might have been like right after
People were
Charlie
booing
Kirk.
her. I was gonna say
It might have
I
been
could
after
see it being
Charlie.
the booing.
Something
Let's
of
see.
that.
I also think that when she's in the boxes, she's behind the bulletproof glass, they're saying. So like this, when
Yeah.
she's up there, that's bulletproof. Which
That's-
as she should.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Like if you can't like chill because you think someone might shoot you. Yeah, wow.
Well, LA tunnels. Do you want to go into Boston tunnels? Because mine is less related than this.
Yeah, I guess Boston tunnels are a little bit, so Boston's a lot more historical. It goes back to basically, some claim that there's a lost city behind Boston because Boston's one of the oldest cities in the US, and many believe that there's an entire hidden city beneath it, which honestly goes together. Maybe LA took their ideas from Boston.
I mean, a lot of old cities are like that. Like Verona, Italy was.
They just built on
they
top
just
of it.
built a
Like
city
it.
on top of it.
Yeah. Basically, there are massive parts of like sealed off tunnels, bricked passageways, forgotten rooms, and staircases that lead to nowhere. People think that it's more than just history because during renovations, workers accidentally break into like unmapped chambers. And the old maps show passages that don't exist on modern blueprints, but like they wouldn't have just disappeared. It's just like
They're
they
there.
stopped writing them. Buildings appear to have basements below their basements in a lot of things. And some believe these weren't just for storage, but they were used for secret meetings, elite gatherings, or even ritualistic purposes, especially during Boston's colonial and Puritan eras. So, of course, like there's the Prohibition smuggling tunnels that was massive in Boston. The Boston tunnels were allegedly used during Prohibition to move alcohol from the harbor to the speakeasies without being detected. But what doesn't add up is that some of the tunnels are far larger than necessary for bootlegging, which is what we were speaking about before. Certain routes don't logically connect docks to bars. Like there's too much. There's too much for it to make sense. Like why are we digging through dirt to get alcohol somewhere? Like that's a hard job for it not to go directly there. A few tunnels are reinforced in a way that suggests long-term habitation. There is, speaking of, what if Prohibition was just the cover story? And some speculate the tunnels were used for human trafficking, political blackmail operations, or transporting people, not goods. And then, have you guys heard of the Big Dig? I feel like I learned about that I feel like I either learned about that or with the guy I dated in Boston talked about that a lot because I think that was a big.
I have not heard of it, but I like just thinking of colonial times in general. I do think of like secret passageways with candles
Yeah.
and tunnels and like even if it's not just prohibition, I think all of the things that you mentioned, like the trafficking, the secret meetings, and like blackmail operations, and just
It's
all
funny
of it.
to think about the difference, like in my mind when you're talking, Liv, like whoever, I think Nat just said it. Like when I'm thinking about LA, I'm thinking, like you said, Kylie Jenner and her pink like Range Rover or like G Wagon, and
And then I'm
then
thinking like Thomas Jefferson with like a candle.
Yeah.
cobblestone.
Like, "Oh, I must get this document signed."
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking of like the Underground City and the Court of Thorn and Roses. Like, I don't think you guys read it, but basically, if you know, you know. And that like the Underground City, like hauling prisoners around in the medieval times.
I could see it like for prisoners too.
Mm. The Big Dig. What did they really find? During the Big Dig, one of the largest construction projects in US history, workers dug deeper than ever before. I just went right back to where I was at the beginning. There we go. Alleged reports and rumors of crews discovering tunnels that weren't on plans. So the Big Dig, I think, was meant to be like underground highway. Like it was supposed to just be a tunnel for a highway. So workers that were digging this found tunnels in there that were not on the plans. Like they were basically told, you're going to dig into this dirt and build a tunnel for people to drive in. And then they found pre-existing tunnels, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So wait,
There's
so
a
the
lot-
idea was to build underground highway things.
Well, sort of. That was for the public. Like they have a big series of underground. Like, do you know how in New York City you'll go underground sometimes, and like, so Boston has a few of those. Like, it's not big. They're just like tunnels under big main roads up top.
Yeah, so that's proven that they
There'd
do
be
that.
a lot of like they have the technology to do it for sure. Sudden work stoppages with no explanation. Areas that were quickly sealed and never publicly discussed. So basically, some believe that there's old military infrastructure down there. They were doing some things. Big thing on the East Coast is Cold War era facilities, which I could dive deeper into at another time, are far older, possibly pre-colonial or non-documented structures. So,
I think my topic might tie into this a little bit.
yeah, probably Cold War. This might be a good. Wow, we did this in a perfect order for sure.
Talk about it.
I'm definitely the bridge. I'm not the tunnel, I'm the bridge. The military and Cold War. So Bostik was a strategic city during World War II and the Cold War. Underground infrastructure absolutely existed and was like known. Like they knew the underground existed, but suddenly they just didn't talk about them anymore. Steam tunnels connected buildings that shouldn't need them, and some tunnels appear designed for movement, not utilities. So, like, they said that they were just storing things down there, but like, why were things that didn't need to be connected? Once again, reports of blast doors and reinforced chambers. So that's giving sketch, in my opinion.
Yeah, holding things in.
Yeah, like why do we have chambers down there? Like we have prisons underground. Was Boston meant to be a command or a survival city during the nuclear war? So that is the idea. Some believe that there's still sealed bunkers beneath hospitals, universities, and government buildings. So Boston basically has that underground city, but Boston's kind of more about the like less about movie stars and more about like financial elites and stuff like that. So there's something called the Urban Explorer disappearances. I just had an accent there. Urban explorer disappearances. So urban explorers have claimed being disoriented far beyond normal tunnel navigations, missing time, phones losing signal instantly as soon as they get down there. And by urban explorers, they mean like people sneaking into the tunnels. Sounds of footsteps when no one else is there. The conspiracy angle is that people there's magnetic anomalies underground, acoustic effects that induce panic or hallucinations, or even intentional deterrence to keep people out. So I could see like the tunnels being like them doing like weird shit to the tunnels on the outside, and then if you get past that, there's like a more intricate network of things down there, but the outside tunnels are just, to discombobulate. And I have a story about that I will end with. But then another one to get creepy is the occult Boston and ritual pathways. So Boston's Puritan past was obsessed with sin, secrecy, control, witches, all that stuff. Some believe the underground roots were used for secret religious sect, occult rituals, early elite societies that didn't align with the public Puritan morality.
I was gonna say Freemasons.
I was gonna say, yeah, Freemasons meeting underground.
Mhm.
Certain tunnel intersections allegedly line up with old churches, cemeteries, and colonial buildings, suggesting intentional geometric design. So, why is so much of it still sealed? And that's the big question. If it's all just old infrastructure, why is so much of it still inaccessible? Like, obviously, there's safety, but I could see it being like a park, you know, like it would be a little sketchy, honestly, but like, enter if you dare, like, use it. You have all this, you have a
Catacombs.
second city.
People know that they go down there. Like
Mhm.
I was
under
gonna
at no
say,
risk.
have you heard about apparently the Smithsonian is documented to have giant bones, like actual giant bones, like they've received them, but they're like, oh, we don't have them, and they're like beneath the Smithsonian in like the DC tunnels. I wonder if that, like, Boston's really historical and has museums and stuff. I wonder if that has anything to do with it,
Oh yeah, I could see
with
that.
like moving valuable goods or something like that.
Oh yeah, like can you imagine like moving an invaluable like jewel just in a car?
Wait, that goes back to mine. They had to move something from the bank, like all this actual like money and gold and blocks of bricks or whatever they actually is. Like in the past, I think it was maybe in the 70s, they had to move it to the new vault or whatever in LA, and they used the tunnels to move it underground, so people didn't even know. So I'm sure.
I wonder. Wait, never mind. I was gonna say, I wonder if the Louvre heist in France, if they use tunnels at all.
No, they just use
Maybe.
ladders. They dress like
Yeah,
Yeah.
just their ladders. They just got away with it with their ladders.
But I wonder if you could plan a heist in LA using the tunnels.
probably.
Maybe. You never know.
Go to that comedy club and just
Yeah,
sneak up somewhere.
somebody's house. Oh,
Because I'm sure they connect like fancy stores if it's apparently used for celebrities, and they're like, oh, I want to go to Dior, but I don't want to go in public.
Right?
that me go down.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
Boston is definitely hiding some more, is like definitely more historical slash
Yeah.
maybe some like Freemason party chamber type things, whereas LA is definitely like the 1% people are using them.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
could see like the bunkers and like the like military use too.
Right? Okay, so 5 years ago, posted on Reddit by a user GAFTRA. My partner and I walked with two friends from the west entrance through to the east. They're talking about Jeffrey's Tunnel. They didn't want to walk all the way back, so I volunteered to go back and get the car. I ran back through the tunnel. I was a regular runner at the time, and about halfway through, it starts to change. It was imperceptible at first, but something wasn't the same. I was using a small flashlight to see the ground and could only see 5-6 feet in front of me. Something was different with my eyes. It was a lightning of the darkness. It wasn't quite as black as I had been used to it before. It weirded me out. I didn't know this was supposed to be haunted, but being towards the middle all alone, pitch black, something was happening and I did not know what. It was all so scary. All of a sudden, I see a spotlight cresting around a bend way down the tunnel towards my destination. It was a train. The light revealed the entire tunnel. I had no idea the clearance around the train, but I knew there was nothing I could do. As it came towards me, I got off to the side, turned away from it, and I crouched down, covering my ears and my head. It was loud. After I was sure I wasn't going to die, I watched it go by and continued on. As I exited the tunnel and was getting to the car, everyone came walking up. They had caught a ride with some guy that had seen them walking. Aw, man. When I read that the first time, I thought he said I was sure I was going to die. And I'm like, ooh, that goes with the weird magnetics that discombobulates you. That was just a really very basic story, so I'm sorry about that, guys.
Well, another kind of connection that it could be possibly like MK Ultra and like testing on people, because MIT and Harvard were big like CIA partners and government contract partners, which recently there was a huge like super smart physicist at MIT, I think like yesterday or something. He was like some plasma whatever researcher, shot in his home like multiple times, no leads. It looks like a professional hit job. And they're just like, yeah, it's just random.
Hmm.
And I'm like, not that that has anything to do with the tunnels, but just like connections with possible, I don't know.
This does not have anything to do. Well, you kept saying bunker, so this just sparked my mind. So I was in Millbrook and a couple other schools very close to me, not the schools that we went to, but in the same district. And I frequent just outdoor parking lots because I just run around all the time. And I'm curious if you guys have this by you, and I want to do more research for it by me. Do you guys ever see the sign? And the college I work at has it. There's a sign that says like by the door, like this is a nuclear bunker.
What? No.
No, but I know that they had those because they were built during, I think, the Cold War, where they thought like we were
So,
going to
like,
get nuked.
My school,
I also feel like
Because they used to have like nuclear drills and stuff.
yeah, like there.
take a
I
picture
know
next
of, like,
time.
Yeah, I will. I know. I think there's one in the school right down my road. So I'll take a picture of that. And then I'm actually going in person to my college in January. So I'm curious, maybe I'll try to walk around and explore there. And then I know of like a few other places. So like they're very common around here. And so I didn't know if that had anything to do with like, I'm guessing there's no tunnel, but I think it's an underground big steel door bunker in these buildings, like under the basement.
Possibly.
Okay, this leads me to, and we'll get to Natalie in a second. That leads me to, well, we wouldn't have bunkers out here because earthquakes would collapse them. But then, how do they have those LA tunnels if LA's really
You just
big
have
for
to engineer
earthquakes?
them
like
differently.
properly? Make sure they can move. Yeah, like the bridges out here are built to move, aren't they? Like they're supposed to wiggle and
Mhm.
jiggle.
It's just extra engineering.
Because I've been on or is it the walkway over the Hudson where you could step on, like there's this really big gooey like part in this center that you could
Yeah.
step. I used to step on those all the time, and those are
When
built to move.
when the walkway first opened,
Hey.
both jumped. When the walkway over the Hudson first opened, it used to be like a train bridge, and then they made it into a walking tunnel thing, or not a tunnel.
She's running to the bathroom because she's got to edit Zaya now anyway.
Okay.
Monsieur Zion.
Did you hear a puppy barking?
Oh, is that Tony?
Did you hear puppies barking?
Tony Baloney.
Come say hi.
Aw. Mr. Tony. I'm going to eat another pretzels. Chocolate covered pretzels.
Up here, come on. Can you do it? You little guy. I'm subbing on so many volleyball teams tonight, and I'm excited.
Multiple?
Yeah, one with Mike. So Mike joined volleyball. He used to just play outside volleyball, which he always hated, but now he plays outside volleyball, and now he joined like competitive indoor, like at the MAC.
And you're subbing on his team tonight?
I'm subbing on my friend's.
Mike's team? What?
So I always played outdoor volleyball. Mike always hated it, and then after we got divorced, he started playing outdoor volleyball, like with his friends. And then I play indoor at the MAC, like competitive. I play Monday women's, and then Wednesdays we do RevCo, like reverse co-ed. So it's a lot more competitive. And I have a B level team and a C level team. And so Mike has always been known for not liking competitive volleyball because he just keeps getting hit all the time and bonked around, like similar to some of our other friends that we know. But allegedly he did join. I saw him the other week. He joined one of like an acquaintance of mine's team. So then I was like, all right. So then today there's a 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock game. My game's at 9. I'm subbing at 6 and 8. And then I realized that the 8 o'clock game is on his team, not Mike's team. Well, yes, Mike's team, but he's not the captain. It's like the acquaintance of mine's team. So I'm like, yeah, should be fun.
Exciting.
The way I would just pretend I didn't even know him, like for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like
they're so bad anyway. Like I just have to be quiet and keep my mouth shut. Like they don't run any plays. They don't do any formation.
well,
like,
if they're so bad, if I were you, I'd spike the ball at his head every time.
I'm gonna be on his
Gotcha.
team.
Exactly.
Like oops.
Exactly. Be like, sorry guys, don't ask me again.
What's that movie with Lindsay Lohan?
I don't know, but can we action?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Action. Continuing where we left off.
Was I talking?
Boston tunnels. Well,
I was done.
no.
It was you.
I was
Okay.
talking.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Go ahead, Nat.
Okay, well, I'll jump into my topic. Also, tunnels. Let me pull up my notes. Mine has to do
I just want to
scroll on my notes. So my story starts 35 years ago. In 1990, this man named Harry Myers, his name is no longer Harry Myers for reasons that we will get to. He's 20 years old, bottom ranks in the military, and he's put on a new command called Joint Task Force 6. And this Joint Task Force is being created down at the Mexico border by President George H.W. Bush. It was presented to the public. It was like, this is a war on drugs, just after the Iran-Contra affair, which was 1981-86 under Ronald Reagan. And that's the big CIA scandal where the public finally learns that the U.S. was trafficking drugs and weapons across South America, and we were like in on it and profiting from it. So everyone, they lose trust in Ronald Reagan's counsel, and George H.W. Bush at the time was his vice president. So when George H.W. Bush runs for president in 1988, he's like, war on drugs. We're done with drugs. So bad for us. No more drugs. So getting back to Harry's story, he's on this brand new task force at the southern border, and he's part of what becomes known as Operation Catacomb, which is like a series of, operations to try and stop drug trafficking. So he's low rank military censor guy assigned to this joint task force. So where they cover, his part was to cover half of Arizona and Mexico. And in just 6 days on this force, he ends up planting sensors, translating data, and ends up having to skip his chain of command to give proof of existence and pinpointed specific locations of the first ever discovered Sinaloa Cartel underground rail tunnel. So this bypasses directly through lower border patrol agents. So he has to skip all of the chain of command and go to the higher ups, because he's like, oh shit, I found stuff that they're actually in on that we're part of. So he's working with another border patrol agent, and that guy skips his chain of command as well, and they go all the way with this, and they directly seek a warrant to raid this tunnel. So this avoids tipping off anyone that's already compromised that's in on this within the US and Mexican military and border patrol that are working with the cartel. So because there's no forewarning of this raid, there's no time to hide evidence of the compromised US or Mexican government officials. And specifically, there were photos left on the walls in cartel hubs on the Mexican side. And in many of those photos was the commander of this Joint Task Force 6. So he was in the photos posing with El Chapo and Felipe, El Chapo's architect of the tunnel. So they had specific architects to build all of this crazy infrastructure to smuggle drugs. So there were other military and law enforcement officers in both the American and Mexican side involved in these photos as well. So basically, low-ranking military guy, in the first couple of days of his task force that he's put on to end the war on drug, discovers that this tunnel exposes US and Mexican involvement with the cartels and smuggling drugs across the border. So this tunnel was one of the most sophisticated drug smuggling schemes authorities had ever seen, at least at the time. Federal agents broke into the concrete reinforced tunnel using jackhammers from a warehouse in Douglas, Arizona, and 30 feet underground, agents walked for 100 yards through the 5-foot high tunnel across the Mexican border into a house in Agua Frieda, I think is what it's called. But they found an air compressor, a sump pump, a small trolley cart, and a hydraulic jack, which was used to lift up the floor in the living room of the house where the smugglers would start their illegal trip to the US. And when the tunnel wasn't being used for smuggling, they flooded it with water. So if you came over to try to use any technology to detect it, it would just look like an underwater or an underground stream or utility of some sort. They wouldn't think anything of it.
Definitely killed people down there.
Absolutely.
You do too much, you're getting flooded and you're getting flooded down there.
What a way to die.
Yeah, terrible.
So federal agents said that the tunnel costed at least $1 million to construct and had probably been in operation for 6 months to a year before it was discovered. So following this bust, Harry's supervisors obviously take credit. They're on the surface, he was given a small reward, an Army medal, which he still has the write-ups for those awards mentioning him and his critical role in the operation's success. But that said, U.S. Border Patrol agents that recognized him as being responsible for the bust, they're we don't like seeing that. Like, why aren't you getting credit for this? So they resented the higher ups for taking all of the credit for the discovery. But somehow, in the immediate days after the bust, prior to the United States side getting the photos from the Mexican authorities before the our involvement was discovered, Harry's information was leaked to the cartels. So, and continuing the mission, Harry and one other Border Patrol agent were sent to Narco, Arizona, where he was approached by a cartel member that confirmed his identification, including his mom's name, his address, his high school, his friends, everything listed in his clearance packet, which was supposed to be under lock and key in the custody of the Joint Task Force commander, whose picture was with El Chapo, about to be discovered. So they somehow avoided being either killed or taken hostage. They left the town. Harry was then taken back to Fort Huachuca, I think it's called.
Huachuca.
In Arizona.
Sorry.
Huachuca. So he's taken back there with his U.S. Border Patrol agent buddy. And so since he was a young 20-year-old new to the military, he's like, oh no, like somehow I compromised my identity and the cartel knows who I am and they're gonna be after me. So the next day he has a debrief with the Army Criminal Investigation Division and a prosecutor from Tucson, informing him how his identity was leaked. And then he was told he's going to be put in witness protection, and his orders restricted him from any further work in counter narcotics or any work near the southern border or with any Border Patrol agents, which was kind of a band-aid while they prepared and got him approval into witness protection program. Also, to protect him, the mission and prosecutions, the whole process, he was put under an NDA gag order that lasted until May 2025. And this was, I think, maybe November 1990.
Ooh.
So that meant he wasn't allowed to speak of any of it for 35 years until this year.
Why
So-
35? Just that was the number they chose?
Yep.
He'll probably die by then.
And then-
won't matter by then.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the idea, I think. I don't know. Because after signing this gag order, the ball was dropped and he was never put into witness protection, never contacted at
Mhm.
all. And the cartel was still after him. So from what he had uncovered, apparently a deal was made with that compromised commander. And over the last 35 years, he's basically just been on the run from the cartel and being harassed by our government. He's been through apparently abusive litigation, narco attorneys attacking his credit, hitmen coming after him. He's collected names and evidence of all of this too, and he's had to keep police records because everything was wiped off of the internet too. So anything that he found. So May of this year, 56-year-old Harry Myers, who now goes by a different name, is finally released from this NDA, and he's like, I got questions. I'm gonna get answers. Why was I never put into witness protection? Was the FBI informed? And if they were, why didn't they do their job? No one protected me. No one contacted me. And I wasn't allowed to talk about any of it. So he goes down in person, I think in September, to Fort Huachuca, and he goes to stay at I don't know, he goes to a hotel and whatnot, and he's just checks in. He notices just weird, because he's obviously very observant now that he's been on the run for 35 years, and he was in the military for a while in special forces, so he's looking around on edge. But the next morning he ends up going to, or at least looking for, the Army Criminal Investigation Division to talk about this, but he can't find it, so he's like, I'm gonna go get a coffee. So he's getting coffee in Sierra Vista off base, and he returns. Sorry, I had to burp. I know, I chugged a seltzer. But he runs into some soldiers who happen to be wearing 10th Mountain Division patches, which apparently is his old unit. So he connects with them, has conversation, because he thinks that unit was gone or no longer in operation. And they tell him the old Joint Task Force 6 is now known as Joint Task Force Southern Border, and it's still in operation. So they give him directions to get to the new command center, which I guess they're borrowing a building down at Fort Huachuca. So he's like, cool. So he goes over to this new command center for Joint Task Force 6 / Southern Border, whatever, to ask some questions. So he walks in this building and he sees a bunch of very high-ranking military men. He says about 12 of them that just got out of a very important meeting, which is odd. You don't really see that unless you're in DC at the White House, Pentagon. They're very high-ranking, and a lot of them, and only them. So he's like, oh, they must be doing really cool things with this joint task force. let me like go talk to them. So at first he's checking into this building, and the guys that were checking him in were very friendly. When he explained what happened to him and that he's just looking for someone to talk to, they're happy to help him. And then all of a sudden this meeting gets out and the kindness shifts very differently.
Sounds like they were stalling. They're like just being nice to stall.
I know, I'm really curious how this turns out, because so they, like, some captain comes out and escorts him out of the building, and they end up holding him for 7 hours to interrogate him.
Again?
Yep, and to his surprise,
Why?
not pertaining to any of the information that he was talking about, they accused him of being a spy, and they're like questioning him on how he knew about whatever meeting was going on. And they accused him of being a bomb threat because he was EOD Special Forces in the army, and they try and like accuse him of being a threat to himself or others, and they wanted to place him on a 48-hour hold. And then finally they're like, when all of that fell flat, they're like, okay, like, you're not a threat. But so they release him and escort him off of base, and that's where all of this kind of left off. So I'm curious, because he's just released from his gag order, if he's going to do interviews, if he's going to write a book or like talk about any of it, and kind of what the whole deal was when he, like, they were going to put him on a hold and they interrogated him and accused him of being a threat.
What was his connection way back when with the tunnels that were filled with water?
He's the one that discovered it.
And the thought was that El Chapo and what's his
So
name?
he exposed all of the US and like Mexican government officials that were involved with the cartels and sneaking drugs across the border.
And
he
it was
So he's got a
basically-
target on his head.
Yeah, so he was the first of all like targeted by cartels because he shut down that tunnel. And
Where was the tunnel? New Mexico, you said?
Mexico to Arizona.
Mexico to Arizona.
Yep. So he was the guy responsible for the discovery and for outing all of the compromised government officials. So, and they never protected him. They put him, they're like, oh yeah, we'll put you through witness protection. And he signed an NDA. So he couldn't like go be like, hey, people are chasing me and trying to kill me. So he ended up like having to change his name. So I am curious to see if any, because it still goes on.
Yeah, May
He's
to
definitely-
now, like,
And the US government and CIA have a very long history of drug trafficking and weapon trafficking that like they've admitted to also.
why are we in debt if we're selling drugs?
True.
Because we give all of our money away.
Why are we giving our money away?
Mm.
I could take it. I got you guys. See, this just confirms my idea that money's fake. I mean, money is fake.
Well, now it is. It didn't used to be, but then we got rid of the gold standard, so now
Well, money is
now
fake,
it's fake.
but even to the beginning of times, money's made up. So
Yeah,
you could survive without money because money's made up.
Mhm.
Like you can just
you would just trade things.
exactly, or you'd figure
Or
out
do
how
it
to
yourself.
all yourself. Yeah.
It's freaky to think about. I'm still stuck on the water. Like if there's all these secret tunnels that are going from Arizona to Mexico.
Mhm.
And they're smart to flood them to be like, oh, it's just underground rivers.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how many more of those are there?
Probably a
because
lot.
I think I remember in school learning about underground rivers and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, are they underground rivers or are they tunnels that the government floods?
Now we don't know. We'll have to check them out.
Now I want to look at like maps of everywhere and like go underground.
Or like the
Middle Earth theory.
well,
Yes.
what we were talking about with the national parks and the tunnels and the disappearances. I think that's a big human trafficking situation,
Yeah.
or at least maybe not that specifically, but that's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, maybe Diddy. Did you guys watch the Diddy documentary?
No, did you?
Started
Yeah.
it, but then it was
Actually-
getting to like he's rapper.
Know what I mean?
And I was like,
Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Know
They
what
said
I'm
that
saying,
so many
son?
times. No,
Know what
they
I'm
said, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Oh my god.
Wasn't that from the where the Millers with the guy with no regrets? He's everything he said, he's like, know what I'm saying? And the guy, he's like, I do know what you're saying. Yes.
I think so. Oh my god, that's so funny. We need to make that meme right now before
Know
this
what I'm
goes live.
saying?
Know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you're saying. So
Just us, like no regrets.
no,
Not one
Right.
single letter.
What was I saying? I don't know what I'm saying.
she doesn't know. What episode number is this?
Diddy. I lost count.
Is it on track on our Instagram?
We're in like 60s. No, I lost count on Instagram too. I could find it. It's a lot to keep track of.
We're in the six-
Badminton's a lot. Yeah, we're in the 60s.
Okay.
I should get back on it.
We're in our hippie era.
Yeah,
Our hippie?
hippie to be for sure in my hippie area. Yeah. No, okay, so Diddy and them, they like I wonder if they would be a part of like a bigger, like obviously like the big Epstein Island. And
Epstein was
Diddy.
involved in all of the drug stuff too. He was an asset.
I could believe that for sure. So like I'm just wondering like what all is going on. And also, do I want to know? Am I like, would I rather live in my little do? Or do I want to know? I kind of want to know. I'm curious.
You want to know about everything. You're like, why can we not know about the tunnels? We're not going to go down there. I just want to know.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
go. Just tell
I
me.
promise I won't
Just
go,
tell me
Mom.
that they exist.
Like, I'll keep your secret.
Then I like make a lifelong plan just to become
Just
a
to go
celebrity,
there.
only because
Ask
I want to
Jeffree
go into
Star.
those.
Yeah, we really got to
Like,
ask.
Jeffree Star, what do you know?
Same, like, and that actually answers my question because Tana Mongeau and Jeffree Star, they're YouTubers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
Yep.
like, for them to have access means that, oh my God, Shane Dawson. Maybe that's why they won't leave their LA house, because they were toying with the idea of moving to Colorado. And they had a beautiful countryside mansion in Colorado during COVID, but they still kept their LA house. And so maybe like, and they're raising 2 kids, and it's like they're YouTubers. They could do anything from anywhere. But I wonder if that's the reason they won't leave, is because underground has tunnels.
Well, they could go to Denver and use the airport tunnels,
Denver
but they're not going to
tunnels.
be the same. I don't know. There's more tunnels to be explored. I still want to follow up the tunnels under the Egypt pyramids. I'm curious. I just realized this girl who I play volleyball with and my friend works with, she grew up internationally and she's American, but her mom like taught English and whatever all around. And so she actually grew up in Egypt. And I want to ask her all these questions about the Egypt tunnels and I don't know. So many tunnel questions. I have Kaya updates, tunnel girl updates.
Goodness.
That'll be for
Maybe
next
we'll
week.
have to just do extended tunnel. Like December is tunnels.
December is tunnels. That
Tunnel
makes
month.
sense.
What is this
Tunnel
week? Maybe we might toy around with the idea of skipping until the new year, because I know a lot of people don't do podcasts the end of like the last 2 weeks of the year. So maybe we'll start the New Year's with a tunnel update, or maybe we won't. Maybe you'll see us when you see us, guys, but you will see us. I promise. Anyone else have anything else for the pod?
No.
Thank you guys for watching. We are 17 Scooters Club. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok at 17 Scooters Club. And yeah, thanks for watching. Tell a friend. Email us at 17scootersclub@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye. Oh, there it goes.
Every time.
2 wheels are better than 4. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club.